YouTube, it's Faye. Very hot Faye in a tank top because it is over 100 degrees and very muggy here in Texas today, but I'm still coming to you with another DIY tutorial, and the cicadas are singing. So phenomenal. We are very Texas summer right now. Okay, but I still want to take the time to make a video to show you how to prep your valve covers for powder coating. If you watch my last video on the Mark IV, then you know I'm not a powder coater. I don't have that skill just yet, nor do I have an oven, but someday I will. But for now, we're sending these valve covers off. Now, I'm not gonna send these to Freddie. I think these are a little bit too large to fit in his oven. So we're gonna take these somewhere else locally. But one thing that my friend Danny taught me, you should always prep these yourself, because if you just take these in to get powder coated, the powder coater isn't gonna have the automotive knowledge necessarily to prep these correctly. A lot of times what you'll see is powder coaters will just go ahead and sandblast, bead blast the entire thing, coat it, and send it back. Oh, what happens? Little glass beads get up here underneath the baffle. We don't want that. So today I'm just gonna show you what I'm gonna do to prep these. I will show you what these look like, and I will be installing them on the Mark IV in another part of that build series. This is just about prep today, people, but okay, so let's get into it. First thing I'm gonna do is remove my PCV valve and grommet. And definitely looks like it needs another grommet, but we're actually gonna be putting the Radium Engineering fittings, so the AN fittings here instead, here and here. So I'm gonna pull both of these out. Ooh, and I almost forgot. Let's go ahead and remove these gaskets, just in case they're still good. These look a little stiff, actually. I'm not gonna call these good, but we'll at least pull them off. We're not going to send them with when we're powder coating either, so I will get new ones of these. So the next thing that I'm going to do is drill out all of these little tabs that hold this baffle into place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 looks like. Ooh, we're getting there. Oh my God, we're almost there. That's it. Heck yeah, that's it. Alrighty, let's get this cleaned up.
I'm using some Purple Power engine degreaser to break down the built up sludge and oil residue, and I'm scrubbing it thoroughly with a wire brush. Now after I get that initial layer off, I'm soaking this valve cover in degreaser and letting it sit while I move on to removing the oil baffles on the other cover. Lather, rinse, repeat. This side has two baffles actually. One small one right around the oil fill hole, so I'll tackle that first, then the main baffle tray. I'm using a small pry bar to pop that up and off of the ground down rivets, and I'm also removing the seam sealer and making note of the placement so I know where to use the form and place gasket during reassembly. Now I'm scrubbing this cover and both baffles with Purple Power and a wire bristle brush, mainly trying to work through those thick chunks, and now I'm going to leave the other side to sit and soak in degreaser as I return to prepping cover number 1.
How are we gonna get that baffle back in? Before I get it powder coated and then have to, you know, rub it on the ground kind of almost while I drill into it, I'm gonna drill some holes now. And I've just got some little pointy machine screws I'm gonna be using. They're a 1/2 inch long. So what I'm gonna do is measure just 1/2 inch on my drill bit so I just know when I've gotten there. And I'm just gonna put a little tape mark there. Heck yeah, so now we have these all drilled out. Just the ones that I had cut off, right, shaved off in order to pop it off. These ones just sort of hold it in place, right? So I don't need to do anything with those, but we're all drilled out and good to go. That makes me very unhappy though. I might have to talk to Danny about that. He's gonna tell me to weld it though. I mean, I was also thinking I could just JB weld it after the fact, but I'm not sure if I like that answer either. So we'll talk to Danny. Right here, we're missing a whole chunk. And then the same one over here isn't missing yet, but it's cracked. So I'm wondering, what would you do in this situation?
If you were at home, give you options for the DIY guy at home.
Yeah.
JB Weld done.
Would work just fine.
It's gonna
That's what I
work.
was thinking it could. And now would you do that after powder coating?
JB Weld can go through powder coating. Powder coating isn't going to get hot enough to hurt it.
Okay.
So, but you can do it afterwards.
Perfect.
That's not a problem. JB Weld in here will actually grab all those little jagged edges, and actually it ain't going to fall off. It's going to actually adhere very well to it. So you could do that. Anybody at home, you could literally put silicone in that hole and put a bolt in there and you're done.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, but because what we have the capability to do it, we're going to just TIG weld it.
Now let's do the other one. Now we've got these two up top. So I did both of these guys a little shallower because you can see those are, you know, got much deeper going on than right there, and I don't want to go through, right? So I'm either going to have to cut the little screws, the machine screws that I have, or just find smaller ones. So now I'm going to blow all this out.
After leaving the degreaser soaking in the oil baffle area of the valve covers for a while, I pressure washed them with warm water to get as much residual grease and oil out as I could. Then I let them dry in the sun before glass beading them.
So at this point, I can actually glass bead them.
A sticker left behind a residue, which I needed to scrape off, and I decided that I also wanted to shave down these casting marks on the outside edges of the valve covers just to clean them up a little bit more. Then I popped them back into the sandblaster one last time just to ensure that the finish was even across the entirety of both covers.
And that is how I prep valve covers to be sent in for powder coating. Now, just a couple things to know. Obviously, a powder coater is gonna do their own sandblasting and their own prep. I like to do as much beforehand as possible because I feel like they're gonna do a better job when there's less to do, if that makes sense. Right, if they're not wasting their time like cleaning off all the grime and charging you for it. Powder coater isn't necessarily gonna clean up all the little seams either, so I like to do that. But the most important part of this process, of course, is
Removing the baffles.
just like you taught me.
Yes, because I don't know how many engines have been destroyed by pretty valve covers.
And what have you seen happen? So it gets in the oil and you've seen it destroy
tears up
cylinder
the motor
walls.
won't last 30 minutes an hour.
Oh my God.
You just cannot wash. The glass beads are so fine, and since you can't get that baffle off, no matter how good you wash it, they're gonna get stuck in there in the little crevices.
Yep.
As soon as it runs and the vibration, they're gonna start coming down. And you would think, well, that's why they make oil filters for. The joke everybody says, that's why they make oil filters for. It picks up the oil from the pan and goes through the pump first. So you're mangling the pump.
Destroys the gears in the pump.
Yes,
Wow.
and a glass bead little ball starts go. It tears up a motor worse than anything. I mean, it's really pretty much almost like ruins everything. It just runs it through all the motor, and then every surface that has oil clearance is 1,500.
Yes.
It just tears everything up. So yes, it's better off to just paint the covers or leave them alone. But if you're gonna powder coat them, remove the baffle.
That is gonna wrap up this video, but in my next video, you will see these coming back from the powder coater, and I will reinstall the baffles and get them on the car. So thank you so much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed this video. Hope that you found it informative. Hope that it helped you out. Hope that it saved some engines out there. Little PSA out there for you guys. Yeah, hope this helps. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.